Are you ready to break the law of attraction? Embrace your own magnetic alignment, remembering that you have always had the power. The key to your transformational mastery, because you're not broken. Achieve emotional freedom in 7 minutes or less with Shakti Awakening.
Welcome to Shakti Awakening. I'm Rebekah Kee Maya, and this is Magnetic Awakening Meditations. Today we are doing a meditation on dissolving conflicted parts. This clearing meditation is for you when you have a conflicted part. Part of you wants to do something and part of you doesn't. This is going to allow you to understand that both parts want the same thing. In order to do this, you must realize that everything has a positive intention. Feeling rejection and not wanting to walk up and talk to somebody. Make that cold call, make that phone call, stand in front of an audience and as a positive intention. Wanting to stay at home and not go to the gym and as a positive intention. You see, the positive intention is to feel good. The positive intention is to feel connection with yourself. The positive intention is to feel safe. The positive intention is to not experience a feeling of judgment. There's always a positive intention. And what's interesting is when we ask what's the purpose of that positive intention, it always leads to this higher purpose that everyone's here for. And so when I talk to people and they say, well, I'm conflicted. Part of me wants to start a business and part of me doesn't. I always say, okay, great. So let's look at it. And we do this and we realize that both parts just want to feel safe and free and have a great life. And then when we understand that we're not having this internal conflict, when both sides can get along, then we can make a decision without the second guessing or doubting. So that's what's going to happen on this process. So here's what you need to do. Please take out a piece of paper and at the top, please write down the part of you that would like to do whatever it is you're asking to do, the thing. So the part of you wants to make, or it might be to make sure that you don't make a mistake. It might be to make sure that everything turns out good. So I'd like you to look at this part from the perspective of this part of you. And then I would like you to answer the question, what's the purpose of this part? The other part wants to be in relationship. This part wants to stay single because it's purpose. Making sure you don't get hurt, making sure you don't fail, making sure you don't end up living on the streets. What is it? And then I'd like you to dig deep. We're going to ask the next question, which is, and so what does that give you? A feeling of what? Safety, protection, comfort. What does it give you? And you're going to have to dig deep and ask yourself questions. What's the truth? What does this really give me when I'm living from this perspective? What does it really give me? Wow, it means that I don't ever fail, and that makes me feel successful, kind of. It means that I stay comfortable. And I want you to circle through the questions again. Cycle through them at least 5 times. And what's the purpose? And what does it give me? And what's the purpose? And what does it give me? And what's the purpose? What does it give me? You're going to find times as you go through this with this part that it's a bit of a battle. It's going to be difficult, but you keep knowing that it has to have a positive intention for you. What's the purpose of feeling anxious? Oh, it's to keep me from making mistakes. What is not making mistakes giving me? Well, it means that I never made mistakes, and that allows me to feel like I'm smart. What's the purpose of feeling smart? Well, then I get to look good in front of others, and what's the purpose of looking good in front of others? Well, then I feel connection, you see? So I'm going to leave it to you to press pause and keep asking these questions. What you're going to notice is that this part of you actually shares the same intention, and you're going to end up at the same place. So go ahead and do it until it ends. up at the same place as the first part. I'm going to continue assuming you've got both of them. They say something like to feel happy or to have a good life, or for peace or for joy, something big for the universe, maybe. For all that is, whatever it is, we're going to go into the meditation now. But before we do that, I would like you to realize that this is the big intention, that both parts of you, all parts of you, want the same thing. To feel good, to feel great, to be safe, to live. Basically, there's usually two things that are happening. One part of you wants to stay safe, and one part of you wants to change things. One part of you thinks change isn't safe, wants to keep things the same. The other part goes, gee, what I've had up until now is kind of boring. It's not good enough. I would like something new. And so this fight, this internal conflict, will continue. It doesn't matter what level of success you have. As you continue, this is going to keep on fighting you. So I'm going into this meditation. Please go ahead and close your eyes. Get comfortable. Feel your feet on the ground, or feel the bed underneath you if you're laying down or on the couch. And I'd like you to just take a deep breath and let it out. And take another deep breath, counting into the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to breathe out with a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Finding the space between the space. Allow yourself to breathe and grow yourself younger in your mind's eye. Go ahead and grow yourself younger all the way back, all the way back. Keep on growing yourself younger all the way back to some time when you were really small, your earliest memory, back until you're a very small child. Allow yourself just to grow younger in your mind's eye. You've got that picture of you as a small child. Go ahead and be in that picture and see it through your own eyes. And so now you are back there. I'd like you to imagine that you're going to a big stadium and you're getting taken out into the center of the stadium. It might be a football stadium. It might be a huge musical stadium, or somewhere where there's tens of thousands of people. You're going to walk out into the middle as this small version of you. You walk out into the middle and you look around and you just feel small, with tens of thousands of people in the stands all around you. And you just take in with all of these people everywhere. And then you notice that they are all kind of look the same. I want you to know that you're standing in a stadium filled with different versions of your adult self. So many different versions, tens of thousands. Because all the way back then, you have so many choices about who you're going to become. Do you remember being asked, what are you going to be when you grow up? In that stadium is every possible choice. Now you look up and you see the stadium just stretches up and up and up. It's not just tens of thousands, it's hundreds of thousands of different people. There are different versions of you, the rock star version of you, the policeman, the policewoman, the singer, the sports person, the artist, the famous politician, the astronaut, the writer, the person that just traveled the world, the explorer. They're all there. All the different versions of you are up there. And you look around and you think to yourself, so I've got all this to choose from, all these choices. Now you remember that you have a high intention in life. You wrote it down just before. And so as you're sitting there as the small version of yourself, there is going to be one version in the stand, one version of you, one fully integrated version of your adult self that is going to give you the most satisfaction in life. It is going to give you what you would like to have the most, the perfect balance of risk and reward, of safety and you, the perfect version of you. Look up into the grandstand. There is the billionaire you, the millionaire you, the philanthropist you. There is all these different people. And even when you think about the billionaire version of you, there's so many different types of that. There's the one that has the family, that doesn't, the one that gives, the one that's all for themselves, the one that owns the sports teams, the one that drives fast cars, the one that's the pilot. They're all there. And as you start to scan around this huge audience, I'd like you to notice there's a huge big screen, like those huge LCD screens, and there's a camera scanning the audience for you. In this audience, it's scanning to find the perfect version of you, one that's going to give you the most satisfaction in life. And as you sit there looking up, feel into that version of you as the camera swirls around and looking. It stops at one. Maybe it's right, maybe it isn't. And then there it is. There's the version of you. You can see it, can't you? You can feel them, can't you? The camera stops and you take your little hand and you point up and say, that's the one. That's who I'm going to be. The crowd all turns and looks at this one person as they stand up and start making their way down the stairs towards you. Everyone's cheering. This is the one that you've picked, that you chose to be. And as this one comes down the steps and starts walking across the grass to you, you know it's the right choice. This is the version of you that is going to give you the most satisfaction in life. The version of you that is doing exactly what you have desired to do and exactly what you desire to be. And as this version of you comes over to see what they're wearing, see how they are standing. See how they smile. See how they look. How long is their hair? What is their haircut? They come across to you. They don't need to say anything. You already know their life. You've chosen them. You felt it deep down inside, didn't you? And I'd like you to look at that person and hear what they say. Notice as they look at you, that connection you have. This person says, you are me and I am you. Every decision you make moving forward in life has to be a decision that leads you to me. You're going to know it based on this feeling. You'll be guided by your feeling, and the feeling is how you are feeling right now. And right now, how I feel right now. Can you guarantee me that you are going to follow this feeling and turn yourself into me? And this bigger version of you grabs your hand and says, look, you can be all of these others, all these other types of you. They are all your choice, but you've chosen to be me. You've chosen to turn into me. And so as soon as that happens, you realize that you've got choices to make. The stadium disappears and you take that feeling and you start growing older. And it's like you've got this older version of you like a magnet pulling you towards them, calling you to be them. And so every choice in your life is different now. As you grow yourself older, realizing that you got yourself to where you are today to hear this, to then make this decision to get to where you're going, you notice it was all perfect. So you are going through your teens and into your 20s and out into your body today, and you know that you're guided by your feeling as you step out into the future, noticing what you do different, noticing that you just follow this feeling, and notice who you already are becoming right now. And you just take a good deep breath out in your future, come back into your body, back in today. And when you open your eyes, you know who you are. I'd like you to write down one thing that you need to do today in order to move towards the person you're becoming.
Join thousands and start your transformation today at ShaktiAwakening.com.